What's going on, fam? This is episode number 82 of Latino Vegano or Latin Vegan. And I'm Roger, your host. And today, I'm going to talk about the law of receiving and giving, or giving and receiving. But before I go into that, let's do a little recap of what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. So first, we've been talking about the law of the universe, right? And I've been breaking it down a little deep dive into each one of these laws. And I started with the law of thinking. That was my first law, which basically says that everything that you think is going to manifest, right? So everything starts from your brain, so it starts from your mind. So whatever you put in your mind is just going to happen. Either it's a good thought or bad thought. Then, next following week, I talk about the law of supply. So basically the law of supply express that there's abundance in this world. So you don't have to be selfish or don't think that we won't be able to accomplish what we want or what we want have just because it's not enough. And it's actually plenty in this world, so there's abundance. That also applies the law of supply and demand, that if you are in a niche that needs people or needs business or any of those things, you have to be able to be the best, so you'll be able to supply what the demands want. But there's abundance, and that's the key point of this law. Now, the third law was the law of attraction. We all know the law of attraction is famous by the movie The Secret. So basically, it talks about starts with the mind. What you think is going to manifest, but at the same time, to be able to attract good into your life or bad into your life, you have to be in the right vibration. So if you're in a negative vibration, you're going to attract negativity to your life. But if you're in a positive vibration, you're going to attract positive things to your life. So basically, you're going to attract what you vibrate for, what you think about. That's what you're going to attract to your life. So that's what the law of attraction talks about. And then for today, I want to focus on what we call the law of receiving and giving. And I'm going to focus on this law today. And we're going to talk about what is the law of receiving and giving, and how can we get more life by utilizing this law. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and talk about the law of receiving and giving. Let's go.
latinoyvegano.com.
Before I go into talking about the law, I always want to start with happy and grateful for each one of you guys that support this podcast and our YouTube channel and our Instagram. You guys are amazing. I think my reason of creating this is just to hear you guys feedback and to hear you guys enjoying the show, enjoying the content that I'm putting out there. So for me, it's always a blessing. For me, it's always, I want to start my show by saying thank you to you guys for the support, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. And for those that are aware of or not aware of, we have a YouTube channel. Please go back to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps the shows to get even further out. And the same way, do the same with a podcast. If you listen through Spotify or you listen to Apple or even Google, don't forget to place in the comments. You can share it and tag us. I mean, all those things are grateful for us and are great for our show to even get further out. Okay, so let's talk about what's the law of receiving and giving. So when you listen to this, I want to start with a quote from the book Working with the Law. It says, "In a state of limited understanding, we reason that we must get before we can give, and then we turn out and walk in the same mental rut as before by reasoning that we must give before we can get. But in our lack of understanding, we continue to leave the getting idea foremost in our thought, and we shut out the spirit of giving." So what this said is like basically the law of receiving. That's about if you want to get more in life, you have to give more. You always hear social media influencers talking about you got to give content. You have to give content because it's all about giving, right? It's all about giving. It's not about receiving. We focus so much in what I get, what I'm gonna get out of this, but we don't focus so much in giving. It's like when you go to a relationship, for example, you focus on what that person is gonna give me, but we don't focus on what can we bring to the table, what can we offer them, and then everything was gonna come back that way. And that can apply for also a business, it can apply for a job, it can apply for any other aspect, even for veganism, right? So people go into veganism just because it's trending. So what can I get out of it? Instead of actually what can I give? What can I do to either help promote a healthy lifestyle or promote a better environment for our planet, or to just reduce the animal exploitation. So using that concept is what the law of giving is all about. It's how we use the power of giving to receive back. And I'm going to talk further down a couple of ideas and things that you can start implementing right away that can help you kind of go in tune with this law. I always like to give something more than just a basic knowledge of the topic. Giving, which is the first or fundamental law of life, is the first law of all creation. Most people want to get first before they give. What is for me then? And that goes against the law. Like I said, we focus only on, okay, what am I going to get? If I go to this job, how much they going to pay me? That's the first thing, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you have to work for free, but you should work for satisfaction, not really for salary, right? But it's like what kind of contribution you bring to the table. And once you focus on that aspect, trust me, the money, everything else is going to fall into place, because the universe is going to reward you back for your effort. I remember when I first started implementing the law of giving without even necessarily knowing too much about the law yet, but I always like to give, and I think that comes from my parents. My parents, especially my mom and my dad, they're a very giving person. They always giving, especially my mom. She never asked for anything. She always give, and from money to time to anything, right? And to me, that was the way I was brought up. So giving is never being anything different to me. I always try to give as much as I can, but what I'm missing is to do it in a consistent. And I'm talking about this later, but giving has never been a problem. I feel like I get a lot of blessings, so I'm blessed because I give, but I don't do it on a consistent basis. A couple years ago, I started during my big anniversary to give care packages to the homeless people, and I'm doing this strictly out of my own budget, and that's fine, and that's never been an issue. I always used to just gather and do it and go by myself and handle these care packages. But the one thing is, like, I celebrate my big anniversary every September. That's every year. But I've been a little bit inconsistent in the time that I haven't done this. So now that doesn't mean that I had not given some other sort or way or not. But what I understand is, like, I had to be more consistent. So not just giving once is going to be enough. You have to do it on a consistent basis, and you have to give from the heart. Often when we pray, we think that that's all is necessary. Is to keep on praying, with the result that we never adjust ourselves to receive our answers, and so complain when we do not get them promptly. So we focus too much in, like, oh, let me pray to God just to get this and to get that, and when we don't get it, we run right away, we get upset or we get mad. What we don't understand is that we're not working with the law, right? You might get what you asked for, but you might not get it the way at the time that you were expecting it. It's just going to manifest in some different time in a different way. So what you need to do is you need to be aware of that the universe is going to send you, or God is going to send you the answer, the signals, but you have to be ready to receive those. So let's say you pray for you're praying for a new job, or you're praying for more opportunities in a different field or something, or your business to take a more client, right? And you keep praying, but then at the same time you're not receiving the benefit that you're asking for. You're not getting the result that you're asking for. But what you're not understanding is, like, you are getting some concept, you are getting some idea, but you're just not paying attention to what the universe is sending you, because you're so focused in that instant gratification, like give me my answer right away, and or I want to see the result, those sales pull up right away, or those sales to blow up right away. And since you're not seeing that right away, you automatically saying that the law is not working or God's not listening to you. But what you're not understanding is that this is how the process works. So you gotta start getting the signals. You might be getting a signal where it's telling you that, hey, you gotta do a little bit more research. You gotta prepare more. You gotta be better, or you gotta focus more in this area. And then that was gonna trigger to other things. It's like a lot of people think about, like, for example, when you go to a job interview, right? And then you go to an interview, and then you didn't get the job. You get discouraged. You get sad. You get upset. All these different type of feelings, right? You feel like you're a failure. Like, not getting the job completely brings you down, and to a point that you're like, man, I don't even know if I'm good at this. But at the same point, what you need to understand is, like, it's a process, right? And the experience that you get out of that is like, oh, well, that was not the right situation for me. You had to switch your partner. That was a good learning experience. I learned how to conduct an interview. So the next one, I'm gonna be more prepared. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna see what the right fit is. Maybe that company was not the right fit because their culture doesn't match my culture. There's a lot of these things. So it's like the power, the universe, God is so powerful. Like, He actually knows, or the universe know what He's doing. So don't take discouraged, or don't feel bad about those situations if it's just gonna be in the right time, the right moment. All right. So when you give, it should be given unto you. Good measures pressed down, shaken, taken, running over. Giving always predetermines the reception, whether you are giving your thoughts, your words, your service, or your deed. The law says, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And if you freely give, you're freely going to receive. So, bottom line, guys, is that the law of giving and receiving, or the law of receiving, is based on the law of giving. But when you give, you have to make sure you give with your heart. You cannot just be giving and be thinking like, well, how much I'm going to give? Oh, I don't have enough, or whatnot. Don't give to receive something, to expect something back. And at the same time, if you're giving, it has to be like because you really want to give. Like, you have no problem whatsoever. You actually enjoy giving back and see how people's reaction and benefit out of whatever it is that you're giving. Like, I remember one time I was looking for a charity or some kind of organization that I want to be part of, because I feel like when you are in an environment that you are giving, and then you're happy about it, you are in your highest sense of vibration. And I recall one time I was part of a organization called Crossroad, and there were a youth mentoring program, and I signed up with them, and I was assigned a kid. I think he was like 14, 15, and I was playing the role of like a big brother. And to me, I'm single guy, no kids. That was like an amazing experience, right? That for me, I got more out of that experience than probably what he got out of it. But for me, it was an amazing experience, and that's one of the things that I feel like is a perfect example of a scenario where I'm giving back, and I'm such in a happy place regardless, because when you volunteer, I mean, nobody's getting you paid. You're not doing it for profit. You're not doing it for money. You're doing it strictly out of your own resources, time. So that's what this whole law is saying. You can give time, you can give resources, you can give your word. I mean, whatever it is that you're giving, you can start that way, and then eventually you can keep giving more. But the point is that the more you give, the better for you it's going to be. So for me, I know that time, effort, content, that's out there. That's what I'm doing, and I love doing it. Right? I love just giving out information, just helping people. Right? Is it a fitness? Is it regardless of lifestyle. Is regardless of life coaching. I just love helping people, and now I started practicing more into what the tithing is. How can I also give in the financial aspect? So I'm going to practicing that more because I used to do it in the past, but not consistent. So now I want to become consistent with it. So, and then that's one of the main things that I love about this law and the law of giving, because you cannot tackle two laws in one, because you tackle the law of giving because you're giving something, and then you receive, but you receive not necessarily in abundance of wealth, but you receive in abundance of blessings, and or it could be the satisfaction of your giving. That's what you're receiving out of the giving. The receiving part is countless. You can have multiple ways to break it down, but the point is that you're tackling two laws at one, even though it's just receiving, but you're receiving also because of your giving. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. But what I wanted to do now is I want to give you guys at least a couple of tips, maybe like 5 tips of things that you guys can do to start implementing this law right away. Like literally, like how can I take advantage of the law of receiving right now and improve your life? So one of the things I like to say is like you gotta avoid saying or doing things like, oh, once I get or have, then I'll go give. No. A lot of people say, well, once I win the lottery, or when I have this amount, or when I have this is when I'm gonna give back. You're really not working with the law, because you don't have to expect to have to be able to give. Actually, you give and then you receive. So you go opposite with the law. You have to be in tune with the law. So no matter what it is that you have right now, I recommend that you just start giving. Yeah, just start giving. Just start giving. You see how it's gonna change. Try it for 30 days. It's like I always same thing with I say with people with veganism, right? Or adopting a plant-based diet. People I will say like, well, maybe I try that next year, or maybe I try that at some point when I'm sick or something. You don't have to wait certain time to be able to do it. You can just start making small changes and then start working your way up, but you gotta get started, right? So, and then what you're gonna receive, the benefit is way better health. You're gonna also contribute to a better environment. So it's like that's the benefit that you're receiving out of that. So we should take away the selfishness for 1 second and then focus on how can I make this change and make things better for not only us but also for the universe and the planet. So go ahead and avoid saying that once I have or once I get, then I'll give. If you want to have good things, you have to give, and give in abundance. Definitely you have to give in abundance. Number 2, give, but you have to give with your heart. You cannot say, well, I'm going to start giving now, and then what is it I'm going to get? Well, I'm expecting now to get a bunch of stuff. That's not how it works. That's not how it lasts work. So you're going to give, you make sure you're giving straight out of your heart. Like you feel good, you feel blessed, you feel gratified, you feel happy by just giving. It has to be so organic. It cannot be manufactured, so it has to be very organic. So number 3, when you give, don't expect something in return. So if you're trying to manipulate the law by saying, well, hey, I gave you this, what you giving me back, it's not going to work either. You're going against the law. Again, it comes down to the first couple ones that I mentioned, which you have to keep with your heart, and then you cannot expect to get something in return. So when you give, don't expect something in return. Just give because you willingly want to give, because you're happy giving, because you like to see the people enjoying whatever that you're giving. Is it your time, money, your effort, whatever that is. I remember for a lot of times, I used to help people transition into vegan. Way before I launched my coaching business. Friends used to come and say, hey, I wanna go vegan. Can you help me? And I do exactly the same thing I'm doing with my clients now. I'm doing it with them, which is, we go grocery shopping. I explain to them the different angles of veganism. I explain to them a whole food plant-based diet, how it works. I provide them with a lot of information, mentoring, coaching, one-on-one. We go out to eat. Is they're local. I mean, I did a lot of this thing for a lot of years, and I was never getting anything financially in return. But the satisfaction of me seeing this person going vegan was the biggest thing ever. And that's exactly what I want to get out of this. Just give you guys that when you do something that you love and you're passionate about so much and you're willing to give it with no expecting nothing in return, it's going to come to you 10 times fold in so many ways. So definitely you have to give. Just give out of your heart and don't expect something in return. When you give, just don't give once and then make things, just give once and then that's it. I just gave one, I gave, and that's it. And try to practice tithing, practice tithing, try to give on a consistent basis. I was mentioning that in the previous section where I give, but I feel like I need to be more consistent. So tithing is going to be a perfect way for me to implement that consistency. And I'm finding an organization, which I already found one, and I'm actually giving to an animal sanctuary here in Houston, at least in Texas area. And one of my favorite places. I had never been there physically, but I always supported this sanctuary, and since day one. And always when I have the opportunity to give, I give. But again, it's not being a consistent basis. So now I'm going to practice tithing, and I'm going to use this organization for that. So I started thinking about this when I was reading this lesson, and what is it that I can give that is going to give me the biggest source of joy and satisfaction? I can go to any website and say, hey, just give me this non-profit organization and start donating, right? Yeah, I could do that, definitely. And it's still a good thing. But what is that gonna give me the greatest satisfaction? Because at the end, I just don't want to do it just because I just want to give and tell the industry, hey, I'm giving. I want to do it because I really want to help this organization. And I say, you know what? I've been vegan for so many years. If I'm gonna give, I want to give to an organization or some kind of or company or institution that is it kind of aligns with my view. So that's how I made that decision. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna give to an animal sanctuary, and I might include some other organizations too in the long run. But what I'm saying is I was asking the universe to give me kind of like a sign, and then what I got out of that was, I'm gonna give to something that I'm passionate about, and this is something that I really are passionate about. So I decided to start my tithing in this institution like this, because regardless of what it is, whatever the outcome is, I know that this is where I want to put my energy in there for. So I'm happy and grateful for that. And the last one is, you gotta learn from your mistakes, right? We all have to learn from our mistakes. People think that mistakes are bad things that happens to you, but again, mistakes could be seen or can be taken as something that the universe is giving to you, so you understand or get a higher sense of awareness. So whatever is your goal is, you are closer to it. So one example is like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm learning how to ride a bike. Not ride a bike, but how to do stunts in a bike, right? So every time, quote unquote, I fail, it's gonna be a learning experience, right? So once I learn that, I'm not gonna make that mistakes again, because I learned from that mistake. And so you shouldn't be making that mistake again, right? So the good thing about learning is that it puts you in a situation where you learn from the mistake, but it puts you closer to what you want to get or what you want to reach. Because now it's like, okay, I'm one step closer, because this mistake allows me to learn and kind of tweak things around and then now do it better the next time. So that's what you guys have to do. You got to learn from your mistake. Don't take it as a failure, precise, and then take that as receive that as a sign from the universe that is putting you in an opportunity, in a situation where you are getting closer to whatever it is that you are accomplish. So I hope I can better explain that, or you guys get the message out of that. But those are my 5 kind of tips or things that you can do to improve your life or get more of your life by utilizing or by using the law of receiving right now. And I want to end this by saying the Lord loves cheerful givers. The law serves a free and willing giver. Whatever you give it with a free and willing spirit. The reason why so many people receive little is because they give out so little. You are to give of your life, interest, energy, thought, ability, love, appreciation, and helpfulness. That's what the law of giving and receiving is. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. It's been one of the most deep lessons so far, because it touches a lot of personal aspects of my life and how I'm a giver. I'm always say I'm a giver, and I can see that in this law, and I can see how I can improve more things of my personality, or myself, or my awareness, so I can give more and more and more. But thank you guys so much. So this has been episode number 82. We touched about the law of receiving. Like I mentioned, give and give in abundance. Don't shy away from giving, and you're going to receive that 10 times fold, even bigger and better things for you. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Gracias por escuchar Latino y Vegano, un show donde se habla todo lo relacionado sobre el veganismo entre la comunidad latina. No olviden suscribirse a este podcast, seguirnos en Instagram, Facebook, YouTube y a visitarnos en latinoyvegano.com.